House to Home, brought to you by Remax Diamond Realty.
Welcome back, everybody. This is House to Home, and we are talking real estate with our wonderful friends, Gina way over there on the right. Gina, hello.
Hi.
Long distance?
Long distance.
There you go. And of course, the beautiful Liz Duenas. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Okay, we're all smiles here and we're laughing, but you know, you guys take your jobs obviously very, very serious. You are the authority on real estate. Now, one thing that people have emailed us and sent us messages on Facebook wondering is, when it comes to assessing the value of a property, you two have mentioned on this segment several times, you know, you guys try and provide one-stop shopping, but of course, you guys, there are limits to what you can do in terms of regulation. Sometimes you have to go to a lawyer, you have to go to probate, you have to go to land management. So let's break that down. Like when people want to know how much their property is worth, what can you provide, and then when do you hand it off to another authority?
Okay. Well, what we do is we're not appraisers. Of course, we're licensed real estate agents. So if someone comes to us and say, hey, Liz, I want to sell my house, and it's located in da-da-do, I would ask them questions about the details of the property, and sometimes I would go in and do an inspection. So for example, if it's a 3-bedroom home, 1,200 square feet, and sitting on a ½ acre or a ¼ acre, the first thing I would do is go online into our multiple listing service, which is sponsored by the Guam Association of Realtors, and only realtors have access to this database in terms of what has sold. Now, the public has access to the site also if they're looking for properties. So what I would do is check what has sold within the past year. So if there are 5 homes that sold within the past year, let's say of similar size, similar bedrooms, similar bathrooms, and condition, and same neighborhood, then I would put that into our database and do, you know, our comparative market analysis and analyze the data to see if 5 homes sold for $300,000 and of same condition, then I would say, based on the market, this is what your home is worth. It's X amount because 5 other homes of the same quality, same size, sold at this price, and it sold within a window of 6 months to a year. Now, I explain to people also, this is a snapshot in time. So if next month 5 other houses sold, similar condition, and the price dropped to $250, then next month that is your market value.
And that is, of course, you know, buyer beware, one way or the other.
Yes,
you can save money, you can lose money.
So if they're selling their home, we would use that figure to price the home, and you know, and then put it on the market. But again, we explain to them that it could change. So we want to be pricing the home close to what a buyer could purchase it for, because bottom line, a buyer will come in, their purchase will be subject to appraisal. So we want to be as close to that as possible. Okay,
so Gina, so after the value or the rough approximation of the value has been estimated, what are some things that your clients maybe have asked in the past just out of, you know, they just don't know the business well enough, and you as the realtor would say, okay, well, I can try and give you customer service up to a certain point, but at some point, you know, you're going to have to talk to a lawyer again, or land management or something
or
like that.
Or an appraiser.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's oftentimes that's where we get our questions. That's what we are asked, is what, you know, in valuation. Like I have a client who recently sold her property, and they're in the process of doing taxes because it's that time of the year. And one of the questions that her tax person asked was, okay, well, you sold the property for X, but what was it worth when you received the property? And so, you know, when they come to us and we do these valuations, Liz mentioned, we're not an appraiser, but we do use the same database that the appraisers use. And for some instances, like some attorneys, some judges will allow us to present our valuations in court and use that. Some tax people will allow a broker's price opinion to be used for their, you know, when they're doing taxes for family members. So in this particular case, this person came to me and said, you know, Gina, my parents passed away in 2003, and I need to show my tax person what my property was worth at that time. Can you come up with something? Well, as long as I have access to the database, I can certainly put the information together and give you an estimate of value for that time period. And you know, and as long as her tax person is okay using it, our reports can be used for that reason. But I've had situations where we've been in a probate case and the judge has said, no, I want a licensed appraiser to give me a valuation. And so in that case, okay, hey, there you go. We go to the professional that is licensed to provide that kind of service.
That's an interesting point, because one thing that we haven't talked about ever on this program is, are there conflict of interest rules that you as realtors like have to, or appraisers, you know, have to obey? Because I can say, hey, I just happen to know, like say my first cousin is an appraiser and everything, can I go to him and get an appraisal for my property even though he's licensed? Or will people say, well, you know, if he's that closely related to you, you should use somebody else, because you know you can be trying to like maybe swindle the client. Yeah.
It's called
Undue
disclosure,
influence, yeah.
disclosure, disclosure.
Okay.
So for example, we have an engineering firm, and we have survey capabilities. I don't use them. I would tell them, unless they insist for some reason, I would explain we have ownership interests and we have to disclose it. We usually utilize other surveyors. We recommend surveyors that they will pick from to use. But yeah, if anybody's closely related, it's disclosure. We always have to say the buyer is a licensed real estate agent or the seller is a licensed. Even when we buy something, we have to say we're buying it for either, you know, personal use or for profit, that we might sell it at a later time.
And it's not like that kind of thing ever happens on Guam where you say like, oh, something happens and because of his cousin, right? Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all related, so we're constantly giving disclosures, right?
Exactly.
All right, well,
That's
ladies,
right.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very
so
informative.
much.
We'll see you next
Thank
week.
you.
All right.
All right,
Thank
stay
you.
tuned, everybody. We are back.